Good morning and thanks for joining us on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis. The Washington state vaccine mandate officially goes into effect today, and many state workers are finding themselves out of a job, including WSU's head football coach, Nick Rolovich. So this morning, we do have team coverage. Tim Pham is live down in Pullman this morning. He's breaking down Rolovich's exit and explaining what the future has in store for the Cougs. But first, let's send things over to Jeremy Legou, who is in the Outdoor Weather Center on this gorgeous Tuesday morning that's a little bit chillier than it might look. Good morning, Jeremy.
It's one of those ones very similar to yesterday. I'm standing right here in the sun, very, very warm, but if I duck into the shade, it gets quite a bit cooler instantly. The sun is doing a great job of warming us up, and I hope Tim finds a little bit of it because it has been chilly down in Pullman all morning long, temps in the mid-30s, and still there. Tim, you're going to warm up. I think in the next half hour, you're going to go, where was this warmth all morning long? 39 here in Spokane, and around the inland northwest, it's temperatures close to 40. 40 in Coeur d'Alene, 45 up in Sandpoint, 34 in Moses Lake, and 42 in Wenatchee. It is beautiful and going to stay that way all day long. Nothing but sunshine takes us into the afternoon. In fact, we're sunny through tomorrow morning when clouds start building in ahead of a round of showers that moves through later in the morning. That should be done by about noon. And then we'll eventually start clearing out and warming up once again as we get into Thursday. So just know that today, one of our last warm ones as we head through the next week. We're going to be in the mid-60s this afternoon. Basically, if you liked yesterday, you get to do it again today.
Well, it's our big story of the day here on Up with KREM. Nick Rolovich is no longer the head football coach for WSU as the Washington state COVID-19 vaccine mandate takes effect. Weeks of questions and speculation are now answered as the university and the athletic department made this announcement Monday afternoon. Our Tim Pham has been live in Pullman all morning long, breaking down Rolovich's exit and what this means for the Cougars going forward. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, good morning to you, Channing. Yeah, this morning we did see the team practicing here, suited up, ready to go. The morning after their coach was fired, Nick Rolovich no longer on the sidelines coaching the Cougar football team. And so, this really has been overshadowing the team's success. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and this has really been looming as the October 18th deadline continued to grow closer and closer as Rolovich continued to say that he was following the mandate but wouldn't say whether or not he got vaccinated. So let's break down more on how we got to this point. So this really all began in July. That's when Rolovich announced that he would not be getting the vaccine for personal and private reasons. He then said he would not be commenting on the issue anymore. But fast forward to early August, that's when Governor Jay Inslee announced most Washington state employees must be vaccinated against COVID-19, including higher education workers. Now, this is really where the pressure really set in on Rolovich because he fell into the required category. Not to mention, he is Washington State's highest paid employee. WSU released a statement saying they applauded Governor Inslee's decision and will work to ensure the mandate is followed. However, Rolovich remained brief when asked about the mandate, saying he would follow the mandate but offered no further comment. Now, as the mandate deadline approached, Rolovich continued to say he was following the process, but then shortly after, Rolovich's mentor went public saying Rolo was in fact applying for a religious exemption. Then in a press conference after the Stanford game, Rolovich said the decision is out of his hands.
Do you know if you'll be coaching here next week?
I do not. I don't have my phone. I didn't check my email after the game. I don't think this is in my hands. So I've been settled for a long time on it, and I believe it's going to work out the right way.
Several players from WSU made it clear they stood behind Rolovich's decision and would like to see him continue as head coach. Now, that leads us up to Monday. That's when we officially learn that Rolovich was let go as the head coach of the football program. Kirk Scholes and athletic director Pat Chun held a press conference last night saying that this was the decision because Rolovich continued to deny following the mandate. Then they also said, Pat Chun said that he takes responsibility for this situation.
As a director of athletics and steward of this department, I take full ownership and responsibility for hiring Nick. In January of 2020, based on all the information we had at the time, including extensive references and conversations with knowledgeable football experts, we believe we found the perfect fit and a long-term solution for Washington State football. Unfortunately, we stand here today having to make a transition.
Since Rolovich and the other coaches were fired with cause, the university does not have to pay them any money from the buyout. Rolovich was given the opportunity to get vaccinated before he was let go. However, Chun says getting the vaccine was not an option in Rolovich's eyes.
We've had conversations that date back months. So, I mean, he was resolute in his stance, and he's ready to make a choice. That choice did not put him in compliance with this proclamation from the governor, and that's why we sit here today.
The 4 assistant coaches fired were Ricky Logo, John Richardson, Craig Stutzman, and Mark Weber. It's not known if Rolovich had the chance to say goodbye to his team or address them before his exit, but after Chun met with him on Monday, he says Rolovich left immediately. Chun made it clear that Cougs need to support Cougs and show up for the team after everything they've been through.
I am making a heartfelt ask to Cougs to unify around this football team and give them the support and love they need to get through this season. I'm saddened for our football alumni and to all the proud Cougs all over the world for the fracturing that has transpired over the past few months. We need to infuse compassion, empathy, and unity back into our WSU community, and that healing process needs to begin immediately.
And it sure is, in fact, moving forward immediately. Jake Dickert, who served as the defensive coordinator, will now be the person leading the Cougars for the rest of the season. Our sports reporter, Travis Green, breaking down who Jake Dickert is and his plans for the team.
We know Rolovich is out. The question now, who will take over? Washington State announced it will be defensive coordinator Jake Dickert. Dickert arrived as part of Rolovich's staff in 2020 and turned things around on his side of the ball. Last season, the rushing defense averaged 30 yards less per game from the 2019 season. However, WSU ranks 8th in points given up per game in the Pac-12 this season, so not doing so well this year. Dickert has 14 seasons of college football coaching experience. His most recent stop before Pullman was at the University of Wyoming, where he coached for 3 seasons and was the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys in 2019. So not a lot of time being in charge of a unit, but it is worth noting his 2019 Wyoming defense was ranked 11th in the country against the run. Here's Washington State President Kirk Schultz on Dickert taking over as interim head coach.
I'm really eager to have Coach Dickert standing in and serving as our acting coach. What a tough assignment for him and the rest of our coaches working with our student athletes during this time of change. But I have confidence that Jake will do the job.
We did a little digging, and you can see the now interim coach Jacob Dickert tweeted about getting vaccinated way back on May 7th, saying, "We all have a choice, but I am proud to do my part to stop the spread." In the end, his choice led to quite the opportunity for the 38-year-old. And also worth noting, the tweet was pinned to the top of his profile. Washington State will be holding a press conference for Dickert at 12:30 on Tuesday. No players will be made available to media this week. Reporting in the studio, Travis Green.
Travis, thanks so much for that report. So, you know, one thing that I saw this morning, I saw the team suit up and just saw them showing up, and that is really huge, obviously, as this team tries to move forward. Jaden DeLora tweeting out overnight a long statement about Coach Rolovich, thanking him for what he's done for him, but also talking about how this is really the team. The Cougar spirit is really more than just one person, more than just a coach or a name on the back of the jersey. Jaden DeLora really rallying the Coug fan base and alum to get behind the team and pack Martin Stadium as they take on BYU this weekend to move the team forward as they head into the next few games and into Apple Cup. If you want the very latest on Coach Rolovich's fallout, you can text the word Rolo to the number 509-448-2000. We'll send a link directly to your phone with everything you need to know, and we will stream the press conference with the new interim head coach later on KREM 2 News later at 12:30. Live in Pullman, I'm Tim Pham. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Tim. Now, of course, we know you all have a lot of thoughts about Coach Rolovich being fired, and we want to hear from you. So do you think that he should have been fired for not getting vaccinated? You can text us your thoughts at 509-448-2000, and we'll be taking a look at your responses all morning long on Up with KREM. A lot of comments coming in this morning. Some people saying simply yes. Other people, very simple, no, no, no. So again, you can always text us those comments to 509-448-2000. Thousands of pumpkins are sold every year, but after Halloween, what should you do with them? After the break, our Verified team smashed the viral trend of feeding them to wildlife and why you should donate the pumpkins to a local zoo instead.
And we're going to take you outside, talk a warm day today, showers tomorrow, but then another shot of warmth before cooler weather takes over this weekend.
A TV reporter skating his way to viral sensation. Details coming up in our next half hour in Speed Feed.